Chapter 4: Democratic Politics, Gender, Religion, and Caste. In this chapter, we are going to discuss three kinds of social differences that can take the form of social divisions and inequalities. These are social differences based on gender, religion, and caste. We shall also look at the nature of this division in India and how it gets expressed in politics. We also discuss whether different expressions based on these differences are healthy or not healthy in a democracy. First topic is gender and politics. Subtopic is public or private division. Before discussing the topic, just see and observe the picture. What kinds of works are being done by men and what kinds of works are being done by women? In most of the societies in the world, boys and girls are brought up to believe that the main responsibility of women is housework and bringing up children. This is reflected in a social division of labor in most families. If you observe most families in India, women do all work inside the home, such as cooking, cleaning, washing clothes, tailoring, looking after children, etc. And men do all the work outside the home. It is not that men cannot do housework, they simply think that it is for women to attend to these things. But when these jobs are paid for, men are ready to take up these works. If you will see, then you will find that most tailors in the market or cooks in hotels are men. Similarly, it is not that women do not work outside their home. In villages, women fetch water, collect fuel, and work in the fields. In urban areas, poor women work as domestic helper in middle class homes, while middle class women work in offices. The result of this division of labor is that although women constitute 50% of the humanity, but their role in public life, especially in politics, is minimal in most societies. Earlier, only men were allowed to participate in public affairs, vote, and contest for public offices. Gradually, the gender issue was raised in politics. Women in different parts of the world organized and agitated for equal rights. Most of these agitations were for voting rights to women. More radical women's movements aimed at equality in personal and family life as well. These movements are called feminist movements. Feminist. It means a woman or a man who believes in equal rights and opportunities for women and men. These movements have helped to improve women's role in public life. Now we can see women working as scientists, doctors, engineers, lawyers, managers, and college and university teachers. It was earlier not considered suitable for women. In fact, in some countries, such as Scandinavian countries like Sweden, Norway, and Finland, the participation of women in public life is very high. In our country, women still lag much behind men despite some improvement since independence. Indian society is male dominated, which is termed as patriarchal society. In this kind of society, women face disadvantage and oppression in various ways, such as you can see according to the census of 2011, the literacy rate among women is only 54% as compared to 76% among men. Only a small proportion of girl students go for higher studies. When we look at school results, girls perform as well as boys, but they drop out because parents prefer to spend their resources for their boys' education rather than spending equally on their sons and daughters. Further, the proportion of women among the highly paid and valued jobs is still very small. Can you count how many women you know who are holding higher positions in big companies? The Equal Remuneration Act 1976 provides that equal wages should be paid to equal work. But still, it is not happening in most of the working places. In many parts of India, parents prefer to have sons and they prefer male rather than girls. So, this is another problem women are facing in India. Next topic is women's political representation. This is very important because feminist movements and women's movements believed that unless women control power, their problems will not get adequate attention. One way to ensure this is to have more women as elected representatives. In India, the proportion of women in legislature has been very low. For example, the percentage of elected women members in Lok Sabha has touched 12% of its total strength for the first time in 2014. Their share in the state assemblies is even less than 5%. In this respect, India is among the bottom groups of nations in the world. In this graph, you can see women's participation in politics in different parts of the world. You can see Nordic countries or Scandinavian countries are having more than 40%, 42.3% women's participation, and India is having just 11.8. One way to solve this problem is to make legally binding to have a fair proportion of women in the elected bodies. This is what the Panchayati Raj has done in India. Under Panchayati Raj, one third of seats in local government bodies such as panchayats and municipalities are now reserved for women. Many women organizations are demanding this reservation also in parliament and state assemblies. Hence, we can say gender division is an example that some form of social division needs to be expressed in politics. For more educational videos, kindly subscribe the channel www.youtube.com/ramsharmalive. You can also visit website www.freeteach.in.